ho, ho, ho! Clement's Homebrew coming at ya. It is your Christmas Eve beer review. That is right. And we might not have Santa Claus tonight, but we do have Doggie Claws. That's right. I consider this my Christmas beer. This is Doggie Claws. It's an American barley wine from Hair of the Dog right here in Portland, Oregon. This one is 11% ABV. It's a big beer. And I've had this one on tap this year, but I've not tried it in the bottle. I've saved it for now to see what it's like. This is made with organic Pilsner malts, with British crystal malts, with wildflower honey collected from the Mount Hood area. So that's a big mountain just outside of Portland. And hopped with Simcoe and Amarillo. So let's get this one cracked open. I'm happy to report there was a hiss on the bottle. That's a good sign. I didn't have any problems with uncarbonated 2012 bottles. I know some people reported that. That's an issue that's not uncommon with the Hair of the Dog beers. But you can see now that I've got a head on mine, which is pretty great for an 11% big barley wine like this usually is. Now, I will tell you right in advance, when I had it on tap, it was the first time they opened it on tap for the season, and it had kind of a vegetable taste in it. So I'm kind of interested to see how this turns out now in the bottle a little bit later. All right, it is very murky, very typical of this beer. It's a very dark, murky beer. It's not even amber, it's really a brown. I did pour out, there was a little bit of yeasties on the bottom and it went in, just so you know. Let's get a nose on it. Wow, in some ways it smells lighter and a little bit hoppier. I'm getting more citrus on it this year than I recall in the past. It doesn't smell quite as syrupy as it has in the past, but there is a rich malt. You do pick up on the honey in that. Almost like there's a brown sugar-esque type thing on there as well. Bready, toffee, caramel. But a lot more citrus. I got a little bit of pine on that as well. And you almost feel like you get some dark fruits, like a little bit of raisin on there. Boy, and I do pick up on those hops. You know, I do get the Simcoe on that, definitely. And the Amarillo, there's almost a hint of an orange as well. So, all right, cheers. Let's give it a try. It tastes much thinner than in years past, I will say. Bit of toffee, bit of caramel, a little brown sugar-esque type flavors, a hint of pine, a hint of date, a little bit nutty on there. I get some grapefruit and citrus. I get some lemon off of that. You know, it's good, but I tell you what, it's just not living up to what it's tasted like in the past. It's just same feeling I had when I was off the tap, that it just wasn't as good as in the previous years. I still kind of wonder if they'd use some fresh hops, some fresh whole cone hops instead of being dried on it this year, which really could change it up. And I have the feeling they did, tasting this right now. But it's a thinner mouthfeel in the past. I mean, this is a medium mouthfeel. And in the past, I would have said that it was on the light side of a full mouthfeel. And more syrupy on the palate. It has a little bit of that, but not nearly as much. Because last year, man, fresh in November, October, it just was knocking your socks off. This year's I first had in mid-October. October 11th, actually. And it tasted almost green, but this has already shifted from the hoppy flavors over to the herbal side. Just now when I burped, I picked up some of that green, what I call the green, the vegetable taste. I think that they put fresh hops in it. I think they changed it up this year. And I don't think that it really served them very well by doing that. The sweetness on this, it's honestly, I think it's almost cloying. When you mix that sweetness with the herbal and tea-like flavors, it is almost cloying, I would say, this year. I wouldn't say that in the past. Even though it was more syrupy, I would not have said it was cloying, but I think it is a bit. Yeah, I'd say compared to the past, this is quite disappointing. Definitely. All right, let's get to rating. This is an American barley wine. In the sense that it's very sweet and there's a lot of hops on it, like an American barley wine. I mean, it does capture that type of thing. But the fact that it's a little bit cloying, a little too much on the herbal type flavors, yeah, I can't grade it that high. I think that it's still a very good as far as barley wines go in general. But wow, this year, I have to drop this into the 80s. That's quite the shocker for me. I'm giving it an 87 for American barley wine this year. Now, mind you, an 87 is like a B+ grade, but it just doesn't measure up to the hair of the dog standard. Overall, wow, I'm going to drop even further. I'm going all the way down to an 83. You know, I enjoy this. I would say that if you've got one of these, if you've got several of these, let me rephrase that. If you have a number of bottles, maybe try one, but I would definitely say age the rest of them. Well, it is still a Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you all. This is Kevin with Clement's Homebrew. We've got the Doggie Claws here, 2013. I'm just saying life is too short to drink cheap beer, and I will see you in the next beer review. Have a wonderful Christmas.